Are you struggling with debt and looking for ways to become debt-free? Welcome to our discussion on one of life's peskiest problems, debt. You know, that constant nagging in the back of your mind that feels a lot like an overzealous stage performer, always taking center stage in your life's drama. Debt can, indeed, feel like a heavy burden, a source of stress that just won't quit. But here's the good news. It's not a life sentence. With the right plan and a bit of determination, you can break free from the shackles of debt. Ever felt like your debt is a clingy ex that just won't let go? You've tried everything, but it just keeps popping up at the most inconvenient times, right? Well, it's time to take decisive action. It's time to break up with debt for good. So buckle up and stay tuned as we dive into the best ways to kiss your debt goodbye. Before we go on a debt extermination spree, we need to know what we're dealing with. It's like showing up to a sword fight with a spoon if you don't understand your debt. So let's dive in and get to grips with our financial foes. First up, let's talk about the different types of debt. There's good debt and bad debt. Good debt is like a well-behaved child. It helps you grow and build a better future. It includes things like a mortgage or student loans. Bad debt, on the other hand, is like a rebellious teenager. It's challenging, like credit card debt or payday loans, which come with high interest rates and don't contribute to your financial growth. Understanding the interest rates associated with your debts is crucial. It's like knowing the speed of the enemy's horse in a chase. High interest rate debts are the Usain Bolt of the financial world. They run up your debt faster than you can say compound interest. So prioritize these debts first. Now let's talk about how to prioritize your debt. It's like deciding which dragon to slay first in a mythical beast showdown. Sure, they're all scary, but some are more menacing than others. In the debt world, we have two popular strategies, the avalanche and the snowball method. The avalanche method is about tackling the highest interest rate debt first, while the snowball method is about paying off the smallest debt first for a quick win. Choose what works best for you. Remember, it's important to keep track of all your debts. It's like knowing the location of all the villains in a superhero movie. You can use spreadsheets, apps, or good old-fashioned pen and paper. Just make sure you're tracking your debts, their interest rates, and your progress in paying them off. So, our enemy isn't so scary now, is it? It's just a piece of paper with numbers on it. And like any good hero, we've studied it, understood its strengths and weaknesses. Now that we know our enemy, let's prepare for battle. Next, we need to map out our strategy, and that means creating a budget. A budget, my friends, is not just a piece of paper with numbers. It's a magic map that leads us to the treasure chest of financial freedom. Now don't worry, this doesn't involve any dragons, unless you count credit card companies. First things first, let's take a look at where our money is going. We're going to split our expenses into two categories, needs and wants. Needs are expenses that keep our lives running. Think rent, groceries, utilities, insurance. Wants, on the other hand, are the little extras we enjoy but can live without, like that extra-large caramel macchiato from the hipster coffee shop around the corner. Now, here's the fun part. We're going to play a game of financial trim. It's like trimming your hair, but instead of split ends, we're cutting off unnecessary expenses. Maybe it's that gym membership you haven't used since the last Olympics. Or perhaps it's that premium cable package with hundreds of channels, but you only watch 3. Once we've trimmed the fat, it's time to allocate money towards paying off debt. This is where we get serious. We're going to look at our income and set aside a specific amount each month for debt repayment. It's like setting aside cookies for Santa, but instead of cookies, it's money, and instead of Santa, it's your future self. Remember, this isn't about depriving ourselves. It's about making smart choices today that will help us live a better tomorrow. It's about saying, sorry, extra-large caramel macchiato, but I've got bigger plans. So let's get that budget in place. It's our game plan, our strategy. And just like any game, there will be challenges. But with this budget, we're not just aiming to score goals. We're scoring financial freedom. With our budget in place, it's time to bring in the heavy artillery. Now, what if I told you that you can accelerate your debt payoff by simply making more money? Yes, it sounds like a no-brainer. But how exactly can we do that? Let's put on our thinking caps and dive into it. First off, have you considered a side job? In today's gig economy, opportunities are aplenty. Drive for a rideshare service, deliver groceries, or become a virtual assistant. If you've got a knack for crafting, why not sell your creations on an online marketplace? Or if you're a wizard with words, freelance writing could be your golden goose. Remember, every little bit counts when you're on a mission to wipe out debt. Or perhaps you've got treasures hidden right in your home. Yes, that dusty guitar in your attic could be your ticket to a debt-free life. Or those vintage comic books you've been storing for years, they could be worth a pretty penny. Declutter your space and you might just find items that can be sold online. It's a win-win. You get a cleaner home and a heavier wallet. Now this one's for those of you who are gainfully employed. Have you thought about asking for a raise? It can be a daunting task, but if you've been performing well and haven't seen a pay bump in a while, it might be time to have that conversation with your boss. If a raise isn't possible, maybe there's room for overtime or additional responsibilities that come with a pay increase. And let's not forget about investments. While they may require some upfront money and are not without risks, smart investments can bring in passive income over time. Whether it's stocks, bonds, or real estate, do your research or consult with a financial advisor before diving in. So get creative, seize opportunities, and give your income a much-needed boost. Remember, the goal is not to make more money to spend more, but to pay off your debt quicker. Now that we've boosted our income, let's put it to good use. With our increased income and budget, it's time to start paying off debt. And no, I'm not talking about sending your creditors a "sorry I missed your call" card. We're talking about taking a strategic approach to paying down your debts. And trust me, nothing feels better than seeing those numbers drop faster than a hot potato in a game of pass the parcel. One popular method is the snowball method. And no, this isn't a snowball fight, but trust me, it's just as fun when you see your debt shrinking. Here's how it works. You start by listing all your debts from smallest to largest, regardless of the interest rate. You throw as much money as you can at the smallest debt while paying the minimum on the others. Once that smallest debt is paid off, you take the money you were throwing at it and then hurl it at the next smallest debt. It's kind of like toppling dominoes. The satisfaction of paying off each debt gives you momentum to keep going, hence the name snowball. But what if you're more of an avalanche person than a snowball person? Well, there's a debt repayment method for you too. The avalanche method is pretty similar to the snowball method, only you're listing your debts from highest interest rate to lowest, not by balance. This method saves you more in interest over time, but it requires a bit more patience. It's like waiting for the kettle to boil when you're gasping for a cup of tea. But hey, good things come to those who wait, right? Now these methods are great, but they're not the only ways to tackle debt. You can also consider consolidating your debts into one payment with a lower interest rate. This can simplify your payments and potentially save you money. It's like trading in a herd of cats for one big fluffy dog. Easier to manage, right? Of course, it's important to remember that all these methods require commitment and discipline. They're not magic tricks that will make your debt disappear overnight. It's more like learning to play the piano. You start off with "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star," and before you know it, you're knocking out Beethoven's Fifth. And don't forget, it's okay to celebrate small victories along the way. Paid off a credit card? Treat yourself to a movie night at home. Cleared a loan? Go for a nice walk in the park. You're making progress, and that's something to be proud of. So, choose the method that works best for you, stick to your budget, and keep making those extra bucks. And remember, every dollar you put towards your debt is a step towards financial freedom. And just like that, you're on your way to becoming debt-free. Now that we're breaking up with debt, let's make sure it doesn't come crawling back. Just like any bad relationship, we don't want to go back to old habits, right? So let's talk about how we can maintain this newfound freedom and keep debt in the rearview mirror. First off, maintaining a budget. I know, it sounds about as exciting as watching grass grow, but trust me, it's your secret weapon against debt. Think of your budget as a financial GPS, guiding you towards your goals and away from the dangerous cliffs of impulse buys and unnecessary expenses. Next, let's talk about saving. It's not about stashing every penny under your mattress. Although if you have a dragon's hoard, I'm not here to judge. Saving is about preparing for the unexpected. It's the financial equivalent of an umbrella on a cloudy day. With a solid savings plan, you can weather any financial storm that life throws at you. And now, the piece de resistance, investing. Now I hear you say, I'm not a Wall Street tycoon. Well, neither am I. But you don't need to be to make your money work for you. Investing is like planting a money tree. It may take time to grow, but once it does, it'll bear fruits that'll make your wallet heavier and your life easier. Remember, we're going for a clean break here. No late-night texts to your credit card company. It's time to embrace the single life, or in this case, the single-digit interest rate life. It's about making smart decisions today that your future self will thank you for. And hey, while we're at it, why not make your money work a little harder? Look for ways to increase your income, whether it's selling handmade crafts online, walking your neighbor's dog, or turning your grandma's secret cookie recipe into a small business. With these steps, you're not just getting out of debt, you're paving your way to financial freedom. So put on your favorite victory song, do a happy dance, and let's toast to a future where you're the boss of your money, not the other way around. And there you have it, your step-by-step guide to breaking up with debt. It's like a friendly financial version of How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Except in this case, we're kicking debt to the curb instead of Matthew McConaughey. So let's do a quick recap of the steps we've talked about, just to make sure they're ingrained in your memory, like the lyrics of your favorite song. First, we talked about understanding your debt. It's like going to a party and knowing exactly who you'll be rubbing shoulders with. Except in this party, your debt is the uninvited guest that you're trying to get rid of. Knowing exactly what you're dealing with, from credit cards to student loans, is the first step to showing debt the exit door. Next, we dived into the exciting world of budgeting. And by exciting, I mean as thrilling as folding laundry on a Sunday afternoon. But hey, it's a necessary evil. Creating a budget is like having a roadmap that guides you out of the debt jungle. It tells you where your money is going and, more importantly, where it should be going. Then, we explored ways to increase your income. This is the part where you get to be creative, like hosting a garage sale or starting a side hustle. Think of it as your financial version of America's Got Talent. The goal is to make more money, and every dollar counts. Remember, in the war against debt, every penny is a soldier. After that, we discussed the most satisfying part: paying off your debt. It's like finally reaching the top of a mountain after a long hike. Except instead of a breathtaking view, you get a breath of fresh financial air. It's all about prioritizing your debts, paying more than the minimum, and celebrating your little victories along the way. And finally, we talked about staying debt-free. This is the part where you get to live happily ever after, free from the shackles of debt. But remember, staying debt-free requires discipline and a commitment to your financial health. It's like going to the gym. You have to keep working out to stay fit. Who knew breaking up could feel so good, right? It's like finally saying goodbye to that ex who just wouldn't take a hint. Only this time, it's debt we're saying goodbye to. And trust me, it won't be sending you any "I miss you" texts. Remember, financial freedom isn't a destination, it's a journey. And you've just taken the first step. So go on, show that debt who's boss. It's time to kick debt out of your life like an unwanted guest at a party. It's time to put on your financial boxing gloves and punch debt right in the face. Because you, my friend, are stronger than your debt. You are more than your debt. And you deserve a life free from the burdens of debt. So here's to you, the brave warrior on the journey to financial freedom. Remember, you've got this. You're not alone in this fight, and you're certainly not defined by your debt. So go on, show that debt who's boss. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe.